Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
FantasyGreek.com's Week 8 starts and sits in 60 minutes here on Late Night Sports Radio. Keith Grieve from 87sportsfans.com here with Mr. Saranteas, the Fantasy Greek himself. We have 6 more matchups to go. And without further ado, let's jump into the Buffalo Bills traveling to the New York Jets. Well, what can you say about the Jets, really? I mean, they are a rudderless ship right now. Geno Smith, I feel like he's the captain of the Titanic right now. He's just keeping the band playing, and while Rex Ryan packs his bags and tries to get on a lifeboat. The Bills, on the other hand, have been a pleasant surprise, especially since Kyle Orton taking over a couple last-minute, last-second victories, really. And so the Bills have the momentum, and the Jets are so lost that they traded for Percy Harvin. Which should tell you everything you need to know about the level of desperation the Jets are feeling right now. I don't like the Jets' offense at all, the Bills' defense. And yes, they're down to Bryce Brown at running back. But God, if there's a team that's going to find a way to run the ball no matter who's back there, I gotta think it's the Bills. And while the Jets play decent defense, they just don't have the offense to keep to do it. They just don't. They have not shown anything. I'm going to pick Buffalo on the road.
The Jets just can't score, my friend. They can't score. You hit the nail on the head. 17.3 points per game. That's how bad they are. That's literally the 4th worst in the league through 8 weeks. Unbelievable. The Bills have given up a total of 12 passing touchdowns this season, and that's it. 0 rush TDs. 0. Now, the Jets have only given up 2 rush TDs, but that's been of late, and they've also gotten burned on the ground a little bit in terms of the overall yardage. But where the Jets get killed is in their passing defense. They've given up 18 pass TDs. So, just from a numbers perspective, this is definitely a game that the Bills should have in hand, and it's why I like Kyle Orton this week is sort of, if you need somebody off the waiver wire, if you're the guy that has Matt Ryan and no decent backup, Kyle Orton is your man. Pick him up, plug him in. He should have a good game here. Sammy Watkins should have a good game here. The Bills' defense should have a good game here. And for all the hoopla that went on in terms of do you take Anthony Dixon, do you take Bryce Brown, because the Jets' rushing defense is so good, this may be a week they don't do as great as they will next week, per se. So pick them up, use them as running back 3s or flex plays. They should still be good for that, and I still like Bryce Brown over Anthony Dixon. For the Jets, you can get Chris Ivory, flex play this week. I actually like Eric Decker as sort of a sneaky play, especially if they actually give Percy Harvin more than just a few plays, which I really think they should. I mean, if you have him, you might as well throw a couple balls his way and just they're going to have to defend him. That's all there is to it. You might as well open up the game for Eric Decker. So if you've got Decker, you can use him as a flex. In the end, I think the Jets get buffaloed, Keith. Bills win.
Oh my God, you are on such a roll. If you have lineup questions of your own for your fantasy team, call 585-633-7487. That's 585-633-7487, and Jim will be happy to impart his knowledge. Next up is what I think is if the Broncos and Chargers are the number 1 matchup, then the Philadelphia Eagles and Arizona Cardinals, I think, are actually the 1A matchup this week. Because the Cardinals they're 5-1, but not by much. They don't outscore by much. And the Eagles are a team where they've had some big deficits they've had to come back with. They haven't gotten the same production out of LaShawn McCoy that they had last year. So who is this team suiting up for Chip Kelly? We still have yet to really figure that out. That being said, God, the Cardinals at home. I just have a hard time picking against them. And I know the Eagles have the capability to put up a lot of points, but the Cardinals defense, they've been fighting injuries all year. They play gutsy. They play physical. They play tough. And the Eagles and Nick Foles, they just have not been the same offense this year. Until they give me a reason not to, I'm going to take the 3-0 at home Cardinals to win their fourth.
Yeah, it's really hard to go against the Cardinals, and here I think is why. When you look at the Eagles' defense, they're decent, but they're not great. In fantasy, they're doing well because they're making plays and scoring touchdowns, creating sacks, creating turnovers. That's going to help you in fantasy. But in terms of overall on the field, the numbers, they're decent, not great. And I feel good about the Cards passing game against them, especially if they're giving up 250 yards and 13 TDs on the season. And that includes having had a bye week. So it's about 2 passing TDs. So if you've got Cardinals, I mean, Carson Palmer is a play this week. Andre Ellington, I think, is becoming a must-play because he is just such a game changer and because of his role in the passing game. Start Michael Floyd. I think this could be one of his best games of the season, if not the best. On the lower end, look at Larry Fitzgerald as a wide receiver 3. You can look at the Cardinals DST, but they're a low play just like the Eagles DST is. Nick Foles, top 5 this week. Just get him out there. Cardinals' weakness is their pass defense, where they give up the second most yards per game and 1 to 2 TDs per game. LaShawn McCoy, this is not going to be easy for him, but they're running a little thin there in the backfield, so I see him playing a majority of this game and getting some work, especially in the passing game. Jeremy Maclin, solid wide receiver 2. Zach Ertz, solid TE1. And only one bird can fly after this game, Keith. Cardinals.
Oh, my God. The Oakland Raiders traveled to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns, who were surprised by the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. They have, there's no other explanation for it. I know Jacksonville's better than the record, but Cleveland was playing some pretty good ball leading up to it. And I don't know whether it's a holdover or hangover from losing center Alex Mack for the season for injuries. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but certain things just didn't bode well. His replacement didn't grade out all that well, that's for sure. So now they face the Raiders at home, who are 0-6. They can't stop anybody from scoring. They're averaging 26.3 points allowed per game, but don't worry because they can't score any themselves either. A paltry 15.3 for themselves a game. And the Browns are by no means a lock in this game. I think the Raiders are a team that are better than 0-6. But they just don't have enough playmakers to be able to score, and the Browns' defense is better than average. I'll put it that way. I'm going to take Cleveland at home.
The Browns, they got to win this game after what happened last week against the Jaguars. I'm sorry. If they want to sort of be taking a step towards their future, this is a Raiders team that they should beat because they are a beatable team. And from a fantasy perspective, there aren't too many players to like in this game. The players to really like are the running backs because for example, the Raiders give up the second most fantasy points to opposing running backs, while the Browns give up the 4th most. So Darren McFadden makes for a low-end RB2 flex play. Ben Tate is definitely an RB2 this week in this particular game. Jordan Cameron, I'm getting really frustrated with him. He's just not, he's inconsistent. It's difficult to determine when it is that he's going to have a good game. So you're going to treat him like a low TE1 in this one because of the matchup. But if you have a different tight end like Jordan Reed this week, I would definitely start over Jordan Cameron. I would seriously consider it. And the Browns defense, I would seriously consider starting them in this game just because the Raiders, despite having the one game where they had 4 passing touchdowns, they fell back to earth last week. That is the typical Raiders product that we see on a week-to-week basis, and that's what makes the Browns worth taking the risk on. The dog should be a barking, Keith. Browns win.
Wow. The Indianapolis Colts travel.
This would really work if we did sort of a WKRP kind of thing.
Yeah, we need I need like a little rim shot. After your joke, so everyone knows that we're aware of the humor factor, and that's not your attempt to, hammer home the hard-hitting analysis with your little one-liners. It's almost as bad as the headlines that I write for your site. Cuddy went down to Georgia. Miami Nice was last week.
That was good, though. I really like that. If somebody's going to say, I need to read this, that's going to get their attention. That's for sure. That's for sure.
The Indianapolis Colts traveled to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, who suddenly woke up after going down 13-0 to the Houston Texans on Monday Night Football. They're at home. The problem is that the Colts, I was not sold on the Indianapolis Colts other than Andrew Luck going into the season. But guess what? They not only have the first-rated passing offense, they have the third-rated passing defense as far as yards allowed. They have the fourth-ranked scoring defense, the second highest scoring offense, and their secondary on pass coverage plays, the highest rating at Pro Football Focus goes to the Indianapolis Colts. Did not see that kind of performance coming from this defense. Now, that being said, they're at home, they're traveling to Pittsburgh. It's not going to be an easy game, and I am totally convinced that I may possibly have gotten this game wrong, but the Colts are playing too good a football. I can't pick against them even if they're on the road. I'm picking the Colts.
That was great analysis, and it probably saved me a bunch of time. But the one thing I will say about their opponents, the Steelers, is that you can play your fantasy players against the Steelers. I don't know how to explain it, but the way that they rank in their defense of the different various positions in fantasy, there is nothing scary about them. There is nothing to make you go, oh, maybe I should bench so-and-so. No, you play them. You play Andrew Luck. You play T.Y. Hilton. You play Ahmad Bradshaw. You play Trent Richardson. Heck, he's actually playing much better now than he was 3 weeks ago. And you play this Colts defense that has 13 sacks in the past 3 games and has allowed an average of 10 points per game in the past 3 games. Get your Colts defense out there against these Steelers. Now that we've sort of buoyed the Colts in our view of them, there are some Steelers you should play. You should play Le'Veon Bell. He's one of the top running backs in this league, a top 5 play, and there's nothing about the matchup to scare anybody. Antonio Brown is a must play each and every week. And if you